Hey there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is a Halloween card using the Honeybee Stamps House Builder card-based die set along with the Halloween House add-on die set to make this super cute card. So this is the original die set, the House Builder card base. It makes obviously the card base along with a bunch of other accessories to create a super cute house. And then the Halloween House add-on adds like a new roof and some door options, windows, as well as a bunch of Halloween fun. So as you can see, I have got two card bases, and sorry, my dog is on my lap making weird noises. Two card base pieces, and then this connector piece, and he has to of course be licking now too. And then stairs and the eaves. So there's the back, like the roof piece for the eaves, and then the front for the eaves, and those are all pieces that come from the original die set. There's also a tiny little doorknob as well that you see right there. So those are all from the original set, and you do need that to make any of the add-on houses as well. Now for the add-on, I've got the roof, the ghosts, the bats, the jack-o'-lanterns, the wood planks, the new roof for the door and the new door, some tombstones, some windows, fence, and a tree. Now the window piece, the die only cuts the openings for the windows, so like if you wanted to have light behind the windows or something. What I did to get the frames was I just cut around the sort of impression that the die leaves on the paper to get the frames because I really wanted those purple frames. Now to add some distress, if you will, to my various house components, I am using some distress ink along each of the various colors. So this is Gina K Design's Stormy Sky cardstock, and I am using Hickory Smoke distress ink along with my teeny tiny little life-changing blender brush to add some, I don't know, what would we say, aging patina to the various components to make the house look like old and, you know, uncared for, and like it is an old haunted house that is falling apart. Now the wood planks have little embossed wood grain lines, so I'm using my black Uniball pen to highlight those, as well as the stairs on the little steps, and then I will add some detailing to the tombstones as well, just to like highlight those little extra details. And I'm not being super concerned about how like neat it is. I'm just again adding to the worn look. So just adding some extra detailing to the tombstones there. And now for my card base itself, I'm only using distress ink on the front piece. This is Concord & Ninth's Mushroom cardstock, and I'm using black soot distress ink here. And I'm gonna just kind of, sorry about the camera shake as I zoomed out there. I'm gonna highlight the edges and then some splotches in the middle to just make sure it looks sort of worn and aged. And I will do the exact same thing to that detail piece for the eaves. And that's where you can see how like the die only cuts out the openings for the window and not the frame. But as you can see, you can get around that. Now my purple accessories are die cut from Gina K Design's Plum Punch cardstock, and I am using Dusty Concord ink on these with my really skinny little blender brush that works perfectly on these skinny pieces. And then again highlighting the embossed lines on the door with my black Uniball pen. And man, I have had so many things go wrong with this voiceover today. I had a garbage truck, I had an airplane, and now I have my cell phone. But I think we're gonna have to live with the cell phone, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, moving on. So the roof I have die cut out of charcoal brown cardstock, and the fences are out of dark chocolate, both Gina K. And I'm using ground espresso distress ink to make the roof kind of splotchy and highlight little or darken down bits of the fence to again make them look old and worn. Really, really easy and no fancy technique, but it makes a huge difference on these elements, and hopefully you'll see that by the end. And this is ripe persimmon on my tangerine twist jack-o'-lanterns, and then I'm going to color the stems on those with my JG4 Spectrum Noir marker to turn them green. And now it is time for house assembly. So if you've watched any of my Sunday Drive videos, I have 2 of those. Sunday Drive dies are from Spellbinders, and they are extremely detailed, and much like this set is as well. So I highly recommend when doing these kinds of things that you use liquid glue, and you use a liquid glue that has a very skinny nozzle on it. So I am using Art Glitter Glue with their precision tip. I love it. It works perfectly. So I've adhered down my jack-o'-lanterns to some gold sparkle cardstock, and then my window frames are now going on some black cardstock just to fill in the openings in those pieces. You could also die cut those pieces twice and like inlay the pieces. I'm just taking what to me is the easier route, and I'll just trim them out of that paper to have the openings filled in. So I have adhered my roof onto the card base front, lining up the lower piece of the roof, and then I'm going to put an eave, would it be an eave? In the middle of the roof, and then my door in the middle of the card base. So that's the fun thing about these dies. Like, you have a lot of choices. You can put 2 eaves on the house. There are different doors in almost every die set. There are different add-ons. So there's a Christmas version, like a gingerbread house. There's a sweet shop. There's a farmhouse. There's a beach house, as well as this Halloween and the regular one. And they're all amazing. And I want them all. I have bad full set syndrome when it comes to these, just like I do with this Spellbinders Sunday Drive die set. So sorry about the camera shake there, and it's going to happen again here in a second because I am going to stand up and hit the camera with my head in order to make sure that my windows are fairly centered on the house. But that's it for those like crazy shakes, I think. Now here's a reason to have that tiny little tip on your glue, because these tiny little branches on the tree are pretty hard to get some adhesive on. And I cut those out of edible eggplant cardstock, as well as the bat, both also Gina K. So I'm just, as you can see, adding on the various pieces with glue, and they dry it dries pretty quickly, that glue, so I don't have to like cover them up for too long. And then here are the Genius wood planks. And I have to say, I don't think, if I were thinking up a Halloween house accessory kit, that I would have thought to put wood planks in. But I think it is freaking genius. Like, so cute. It totally makes the house look abandoned when you board up the windows. It's like amazing. Honeybee Stamps, super creative. So way to go, you guys. And you can see my card base itself is kind of dull. It's obviously the purple trim is kind of crazy. It definitely adds to that Halloween feel, but the rest of it is sort of dull. So that really makes the orange of the pumpkins really stand out there. And then the ghosts really pop off of it as well. Now the tombstones I'm putting on the right hand side to offset the wood planks on the left and the top to create a very nice visual triangle. You may have heard of that in design. And then I am going to sparkle up my ghosts, because of course I need some glitter on my ghosts, right? Gotta have glitter at least somewhere, and this is all I've got on this card. So I'm going to adhere down my final piece of fencing there. And you can see that those stick off the sides of the card, but that's okay. I'm going to trim them off just like that tree branch that's sticking off. This will fit in an A2 size envelope once you trim off anything that's sticking out too excessively over the edges. And I just love how the white really pops off of the background color. Like, I don't know. I wasn't sure what I was going to wind up with when I went with this color scheme, and I am thrilled with how it turned out. I hope you guys like it too. I think it really, really highlights the ghosts and the little jack-o'-lanterns really, really nicely. And I hope you can see what a difference the distress ink makes on those like die cut pieces. Like, it really adds some extra wear and dimension to the card that wouldn't be there if it was all just plain paper. So now I'm just trimming off those pieces that I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to adhere the card together. So this is like a little connector piece, and I'm folding it. It's got a score line on it. And I'm going to use glue, but you could also use tape. And so I'm going to adhere one half of it to the back of the card base. So like the inside of the card. And then I'm going to put glue on the front and then line up the bottoms of the 2 die cut cards and then press the front onto that connector piece to get my cards to connect. You could also use tape easily too. Now for my inside, I am going to stamp this large happy stamp, also from Honeybee Stamps, with Versamark ink on the inside of my card because I want to heat emboss this with white embossing powder. So I did stamp it twice, and usually that's enough for me to get good adhesion of my white embossing powder. However, it didn't go so well this time. Excuse me, sorry. The white didn't want to stick in certain spots. So I have included this because Lord knows this happens to all of us. It's inevitable that you just have like a bad embossing job happen. And you'll see here when it's done that it's really patchy. Like there's some seriously patchy bits on this. So this is my solution. I use my white gel pen. It's a Jelly Roll 0.08 white pen. And I just color in any spots that are not filled in properly with the embossing powder. And the color matches exactly. And it really looks great at the end. I mean, if you look super carefully, you could tell. But who's going to do that? And anybody who is going to do that doesn't deserve your card. So that is a way to fix at least white embossing powder screw-ups if you ever have that happen. Now this word Halloween is from the Elizabeth Craft Designs Words 3 Happy Holidays die set. It has a bunch of holiday words in it. And then my last 2 bats are going to go around the words on the inside, and that will complete the card. So look at how cute it is. I was super happy with how it came out. I hope you like it as well. It's really fun to put together and not hard at all. It is a little detailed, but it's not difficult. Super, super cute. I hope I've inspired you to check out the House Builder die sets from Honeybee Stamps. They're amazing. I can't say enough good stuff about them. So thank you so much for watching. As always, supplies are linked in the video description and over on my blog. If you liked the video, I would really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And hey, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet either. I am trying to rebuild my channel after being gone for a while, so I'd love to get comments and love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.